I'm Connery Sean Connery.
And I'm Justus Burkett.
And today, Justus and his friend David are going to find out if Never Say Never Again is the greatest movie ever made.
Mr. Bond, I need a urine sample. If you could fill this beaker for me.
From here?
Welcome back, Mr. Connery.
Justus,
Yes.
it's good to be back.
It's great to have you.
I wanted to apologize for being so forward with you on last time we were on mic together.
That's fine.
The last time you were sitting over there in your office chair and I was sitting over here possessing the body of your friend David.
That's right, yeah.
And I asked to suck your cock.
Yes, I remember quite well.
It was quite forward of me, so
Yes.
perhaps we could turn over a new leaf and start again.
I appreciate the apology. That sounds great, yeah.
So I wanted to ask if perhaps later you would be interested in joining me for dinner somewhere.
Oh.
And we could have a nice meal.
That sounds incredible. I would love to go out to dinner with the acclaimed Hollywood celebrity Sean Connery, dead or alive. Yeah.
I would still be possessing the body of your friend David.
That's fine.
I don't know what his bank account is like right now, but
Yeah, we'd probably have to go somewhere that's like a little bit lower menu prices than you're used to. You being a movie star and all.
sure.
Yeah.
I appreciate you accepting that, and perhaps afterward we can find somewhere nice and private, and I can pop your testicles in my mouth like grapes.
It depends on how the dinner goes. Well, yeah, we'll have dinner. And then we'll see what happens. How about that?
Fair enough. I realized something while
Yeah.
I was soul searching this past week.
Yeah.
I'm not actually gay.
Oh, okay. I suspected that might be the case because you did say you were gay because you hated women so much, and David and I had a conversation where we're pretty sure that that's not how that works.
I suppose by definition,
Mhm.
considering I have sex with men
Yes.
now that I'm in hell.
In hell, yes.
I am gay, but if you think about it, having sex with men is actually not gay. What's gay is having sex with a nice-smelling, delicate lady.
Okay. I also don't think this is correct.
I think it takes a real man to fuck another man. A stinky, smelly, sweaty, hairy man.
I've got a couple problems.
That's like the manliest thing you could do.
I don't necessarily. I think what the problem is that you're equating femininity, effeminacy, right, to homosexuality, and in reality there are lots of masculine gay men out there. There's gay men of all stripes who express their identity all different ways. Just being like a big burly strong man doesn't automatically make you straight. Gay men can be big and burly too.
Yes, but I'm saying that fucking a man is not gay. Because of the fact that they're big and strong and masculine.
I don't think I'm equipped to have this conversation with you, Sean. I think you should be talking to other members of your community about this. Which I guess is now, in your mind, the straight community. So I guess I am a person to have. As a straight person, I just think having sex with women is sort of what makes you straight. If you're a man.
I'm sorry, this is all very confusing to me.
It's if you can believe it, I think it's even more confusing to me.
Well, I'll go back to hell and think on it some more, and perhaps join me for dinner tonight. I'll see you at dinner, and then afterwards
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. No promises. No promises.
Play hide the pickle.
Yes.
I'll show. You know what? Tonight, I'll show you how not gay it is to fuck another man.
Okay.
All right, Justus. Goodbye. I'll give your friend back to you now.
Man, so much to unpack with this guy.
Oh,
Hello, David. Well, welcome back.
Hi,
Hey.
how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing okay. I'm going to answer that like it's the part of the podcast where we answer that, although I really want to know what happened in hell this time. But but first, yeah, I'm okay. I was having a really good weekend, and then I learned that the Grand Canyon Lodge at the North Rim of the Grand Canyon burned down, and now I'm just very sad about that, because that's a place where I have like 3 decades of fond family memories, and it just doesn't exist anymore. And it's like, I can't even be mad at like some irresponsible person with a campfire or whatever, because it's like, it was a lightning caused wildfire exacerbated by like weather conditions. So I guess I'm mad at like the weather. I'm mad at God, I guess. Climate change maybe, but I don't know if this would have happened regardless. So, that news really bummed me out.
Was anyone hurt?
No, it was evacuated.
Were they evacuated
It
already?
was evacuated, so it's just buildings, but it's still making me sad because it's definitely a place that I had a really strong emotional connection to, and it's really bumming me out today that it's gone. That I'll just, never see that place again, where I have like lots and lots of my happiest memories on this planet. Really, the Grand Canyon Lodge was like one of my favorite places anywhere on Earth, and yeah, it's just sad that it's gone.
Okay.
The canyon's still there, but it's like really sad that like that like 100-year-old like historic building is just like not there anymore. But other than that, I'm okay. And it's just buildings. In terms of media that I have to recommend, I did listen to the new Wet Leg album. Wet Leg released their second album, their sophomore album, Moisturizer, this week, and really enjoyed that. If you don't know Wet Leg, they're kind of like alt pop indie rock, and they're from England, and they're good. And also, I watched another Miyazaki movie. There is another Justice Burkett Miyazaki watch to add to the media rec pile, which is Princess Mononoke. Good fucking movie. Really, really good movie.
Yeah, that's one of the Miyazaki films I've seen, but it's been a long time since I've seen it.
It rocks. How are you, David? How was hell, and also how are you?
Not much to report from hell.
Okay.
Other than fire and screaming,
Right.
and
all
torture and anguish.
So just another day.
It was a little short trip to hell this time. I am in my actual personal life, aside from hell, I'm not great.
Yeah.
And don't really want to talk about it much more than that.
That's
I have
fine.
some family stuff going on.
Yep, that's fine.
That I have to deal with, and it's been a rough couple of weeks dealing with that.
Yeah.
Specifically, I guess, just a death in the family. So, yeah, I'm tired, and I have to go to a funeral this week, and I'm not.
Yeah.
Some members of my family are coming out to that, so it's nice to see them. I just wish it was under different circumstances.
Yeah, it's always weird when you have like the funeral family reunion where it's like, oh wow, I haven't seen these people in forever, and now we're all just gonna sit in a church and be sad. Yeah.
And just like wondering, hey, is that particular family member gonna cause shit at this? And it's like, well, if they do, I can always just be like, you're really gonna do this now.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Fair enough. Anyway.
As far as media recommendations, I guess I needed more Sean in my life.
Even more than him being inside your body?
Apparently. I watched The Rock. I rewatched The Rock last night, which is actually a really good Sean Connery movie.
Yes.
And I guess the movies that Sean picked for us to watch are varying degrees of quality.
I
would say.
Yes, I would say that is the case.
But The Rock is like a pretty solid action movie, and I had a fucking great time watching it last night.
Nice.
And maybe we should cover it at some point. But apparently
at
not.
some point, but
not
probably not for a while, because we're getting lots of Sean.
We're getting our fill of Sean this month.
Yeah, you in a very literal sense. He is filling your body with his ectoplasm.
What are the conversations like when I'm not here?
Oh, he just like wants to like gargle my balls and stuff.
Oh,
yeah. I'm not really sure why.
So I guess depending on how you feel, you might be getting your fill of Sean too.
Or Sean might be getting his fill of me.
Yeah, is he a switch?
I don't know. He's mostly just wanted to do oral stuff. But, like, he wants to be on the giving end. He wants me on the receiving end.
Huh.
It seems to be what he's interested
I think
in.
that guy has some things to figure out.
I
maybe.
think that's... Yes, that is also what I said. Yeah, he thinks it's not gay to fuck men. I don't really want to get into it.
Welcome to the greatest movie ever made, the show where we watch a movie and tell you if it's the greatest movie ever made.
Yes.
We're sort of doing things out of order,
Sorry,
I guess.
that wasn't me being possessed by Sean Connery. That was me doing a flawless impression.
It's a very good impression.
Thank you.
I'm David Scandera, joined as always by my co-host and
I don't know.
inexplicable video game sequence of the James Bond film, Justice Burkett.
I thought you were going to say Heavy that gets a vial of piss thrown in his face.
Do you know who that is?
No.
Pat Roach, who is the Heavy in all of the original Indiana Jones trilogy.
Oh, shit.
So, like, the plane fight,
Wow.
the conveyor belt fight in Temple of Doom where he's in brownface because he's Indian.
Right, of course.
I think he's has a cameo as a tank driver in Last Crusade. I don't think there's actually a fight with him.
Yeah.
But that's who that's who that is.
Didn't know that. Didn't recognize him with the head of hair that he's got in this movie.
Yeah.
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 Wow. Huh. I mean, he's if you want a Heavy in the 80s, except no substitutes.
And
Get Plane Guy from Indiana Jones.
And Vic Armstrong, who did legendary stunt
Yeah.
coordinator, who also worked on Indiana Jones, did the stunts for this.
Yes, he also did the stunts for fucking Total Recall and Starship Troopers, which is why the action in this movie is some of the best stuff about it.
We are, of course, I guess we're just going to get into it because we already did our introductions and asked how we were doing.
That's right.
We are talking about the so-called unofficial James Bond film released in 1983, Never Say Never Again.
Yeah.
Directed by Irvin Kershner.
Yes.
Or as I'm sure Sean would say it, Irvin Kershner. The S and the H is already there for me.
Kershner. Yeah, just try and make that as many syllables as you can, I guess. Famously director of Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. Episode 5, right? That's episode 5.
Yes.
It's so fucking... I know that this is like well-trod territory. It's so fucking stupid that after the first one came out, which of course did not initially have a number associated with it, George Lucas was like, the next one is 5, actually.
I don't think that
Or did that happen until like home video release?
I don't think it was still home video release.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it released
That's
as...
even worse.
I mean, it's hard because there have been so many
Right.
different
But the first
versions
one was
of Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Just Star Wars.
And then Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back.
And then,
Star Wars Return of the Jedi.
The title crawl said Star Wars, and then I think it just said The Empire Strikes
Yes.
Back. I don't think there was an episode prefix.
And then, like, after those movies came out, but before the prequel trilogy, at some point George Lucas was like, actually, the first one was the 4th one. Surprise. I'm going to make 9 of these.
Yeah, I remember seeing, reading an article where, like, Return of the Jedi, before it had its title, was referred to as Star Wars 3.
Oh, okay.
So I think back then there wasn't any sort of conceit about it being 4, 5,
so
and 6.
Dumb that he did that.
Anyway,
I hate that. Anyway, I know it's well-trod territory. I know we're talking about the most famous movie franchise of all time right now, but I just had to pause to let everyone know that I fucking hate that shit.
But we need to talk about one of the other most famous movie franchises of all time, James Bond, and this weird anomaly and where it fits in. I mean, this isn't an Eon-produced Bond film, but I think all the same, like, we should go over what our history with Bond is. And if you'd like to...
I'll start because my history with Bond is shorter.
Yeah.
I've seen some Bond movies. I saw some Bond movies growing up that I have only seen, like, once when I was, like, 10. Which functionally means I haven't seen them as an adult because I don't really remember them. Like, I remember seeing Goldfinger when I was like maybe early teens or preteen or whatever. I've seen Dr. No around the same time. I know I've seen a couple of the Brosnan ones. I've definitely seen GoldenEye. I've maybe seen The World Is Not Enough. Yeah, and this is sort of where I'm at with Bond, is like, I've seen some of these. I don't really remember which ones.
Have you seen the Craig movies?
I have seen 2 of the Craig movies. Those are the ones I remember the best.
Yeah.
Are the 2 Craig movies I've seen, because those came out, after by the time I was a teenager, and I remember seeing them better. I've seen Casino Royale a couple times, and I love that movie. I think that movie's great. It's probably the Bond movie that I have the strongest attachment to, because it's the first one that I remember watching and being like, oh, this is great, And then I saw Quantum of Solace in theaters, and I don't really remember much about it. I remember thinking it was okay.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. And then I never saw any of the Craig movies after Quantum.
Okay.
So overall, I've probably, throughout my life, seen 5 or 6 Bond movies, maybe more. But I really only have a strong relationship with the Daniel Craig Casino Royale, and that's it. This was interesting, because I sort of feel like I was approaching Never Say Never Again with a little bit of an alien outsider perspective. Not so much as someone who's never seen a Bond movie before, but I definitely don't have a strong relationship to this franchise. So maybe a lot of the ways that it is adhering to and deviating from the Bond formula are potentially lost on me. I don't necessarily feel like I caught all the nuance.
That's interesting. I'm glad that we're kind of coming at this from 2 different angles.
Yeah.
Because I, on the other hand, I wouldn't say that I'm a Bond super fan.
But you've seen a lot of them.
But I've always liked James Bond.
Right.
And I think I was even James Bond for Halloween before I had even seen any of the movies, because...
You just like that he was a guy in a suit with a gun?
It was just the 90s. It was in the 90s, I think there were certain franchises and movies that, me as a boy raised... in a culture that caters to masculinity in certain ways,
right,
had just sort of, they had been accepted as part of the cultural upbringing of kids. So it was I loved planes and the Navy because of Top Gun, and I had never seen Top Gun.
Yeah, actually a good illustration of what you're talking about is even though I didn't have that strong of an attachment to the Bond movies, I had a very strong attachment to the N64 Bond game, GoldenEye, and the N64 game for movie tie-in game for World Is Not Enough too.
Yeah.
I played the shit out of both of those N64 games, and I feel like I had more of a connection with James Bond through that than through the movies. And I've never read any of the books.
Yeah, I've played I played GoldenEye at my friend's house a bunch as a kid.
Yeah. Classic 90s game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still have it. Still have a copy of it.
Nice.
My brother has it, actually. He has the N64 at the moment. But at some point, I had probably started seeing some of them on TV. I knew that my dad liked the Bond movies, and for the Scholastic book order, one year there was a DK book that was the Secret History of James Bond or something, and it's a book. It's a book for kids with big pictures and shots of props, and that basically just it went through all of the movies. And I bought that for my dad as a present, and then it ended up becoming my book. And
Nice.
I just read it all the time. I flipped through it all the time. So I knew a lot of the big plot points from all the movies before I'd even seen them. Around that time, I started seriously watching the Bond movies. And then the first Bond movie I saw in theaters was Die Another Day. And I had a slot car racing set that my dad had to order from the UK, and had to get a special adapter so I could plug it into the wall and race with it. This was the peak of my Bond fandom, even though I had only seen a few movies at that point. And at some point in there, somewhere in there over the years, I caught Never Say Never Again on TV and probably watched 20 or 30 minutes of it because it wasn't in the book.
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck is this movie? Why does Sean Connery look like this? And it sort of eventually caught up to me that this was a remake of Thunderball. And in the years since, I've watched all of the Eon Bond movies at least a couple of times. I have a Blu-ray box set of all the movies released to that point. And Never Say Never Again was always like this kind of weird curio to me. And I was like, I probably don't need to see it because there are a few unofficial Bond movies that are not part of the Eon canon because of various legal loopholes.
Right.
The first Bond movie is actually an American television production of Casino Royale that came out in the 50s, where he's called Jimmy Bond and he's American.
That's so cursed.
And then in the 60s, of course, we had the Casino Royale parody with David Niven and Peter Sellers that I've never seen and I've heard is unwatchable trash. that is a parody of the Connery era of Bond. And then this comes about because in the 50s, Ian Fleming is writing the books. He's working on bringing Bond to the big screen after the Casino Royale television show or television adaptation. And he starts developing the screenplay with Kevin McClory, and it never gets produced. He ends up taking those ideas and using them to write the novel Thunderball, and then Kevin McClory gets into a legal dispute with him over over that story, and says that it's taking elements from a screenplay that they worked on together, and he's not credited for it. And then, of course, Thunderball gets turned into a movie. It's the fourth Connery Bond film.
Yeah. It is funny that Sean Connery was in this movie twice, basically.
Yes. Yes. And at the time, McClory does work on that movie as a producer and strikes a deal with Cubby Broccoli, who's one of the producers on that film, that he's not able to do. He can do something else with the Thunderball story in 10 years, but he can't do it until then. So it's the 80s. Connery's looking for work.
Yeah.
Roger Moore is deep into his career as James Bond, and through various legal proceedings, it comes out that they might be able to do a weird Bond offshoot to kind of compete with the success of the Eon films.
Right. And they can use this story, including the character, but they can't use any of the visual trademarks of the Eon films, like the gun barrel opening, like the Bond theme.
Right.
They can't use any of that shit.
Right. But the characters are mostly the same. There's some changed names here and there. And the thought is that maybe they can turn this into a franchise, a competing franchise.
It would be wild if there were just two. If that had happened, and there were just there had been a branching Bond franchise, it's like the Great Schism.
Yeah.
You know, and suddenly you have a succession line of Bonds to the non-Eon franchise and the Eon franchise. That would be wild if that had actually happened.
Yeah. They have a script that passes through multiple hands. Connery is sort of. One of the things is Connery is still salty over the fact that he didn't get paid enough for the Eon films. And actually, in fact, this is his second time coming back for Bond,
right?
Because he already came back once in that weird moment where we had a George Lazenby Bond film in the middle of two Connery Bond films, and that's when he came back for that one, and then was gone and replaced by Moore. So part of the incentive for him to come back is they're going to pay him more.
Right.
And the script goes through multiple hands, and at some point he's really, really into it. Then the script changes hands, and he's less into it. There's more things that he wants changed. There's more parts that don't work for him, and then they change it back again. It sounds like this was kind of up and down a difficult production.
Yeah, it sounds like it was kind of a nightmare.
Like Jack Schwartzman was one of the producers.
Connery apparently fucking hated him.
Yeah, and Schwartzman was involved in a lot of the legal battle because they just knew they were expecting a lawsuit to be coming. So script changes, dialogue changes. At one point, it came down that they could only use dialogue from the novel.
Yeah.
Which of course isn't actually present in the final film, but all of these changes to the script had to be checked through multiple channels to avoid a lawsuit. And this was originally going to release right around the same time as Octopussy, the newest Bond film with Roger Moore, as a way to compete with it. And then, in fact, they ended up getting released months apart. It was kind of seems like a nightmare from start to finish, which is somewhat apparent on screen.
Yeah. Yeah.
This
is a movie that smacks of troubled production.
This movie is a mess. But I kind of think, much like RoboCop 2, which had a similarly troubled production
right.
with multiple scripts and
Yeah.
multiple writers.
Yeah.
I sort of think in the middle of it all is Irvin Kershner holding this fucking thing together by the skin of his teeth.
he's like Spider-Man in Spider-Man 2 stopping the train.
Exactly.
Yeah, I sort of feel that way too. He certainly tries. There is certainly effort made here to make this movie watchable and even good. And sometimes it succeeds, and other times I think less so.
And I attribute the success of like Empire Strikes Back,
Yeah.
specifically to Kershner.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
like
yeah.
I think what makes Empire so good is that Kershner, of course, collaborated with Lucas, but he was able to bring a fresh set of eyes to
Yes.
Star Wars.
He also, I'm sorry, there's a reason that of the first 6 Star Wars movies, Empire has some of the best performances out of, all of the best performances, I would say.
Yeah.
Out of all 6 of those movies. It's because it was the one directed by a guy who was good at directing actors. Irvin Kershner is good at directing actors. You can tell. And that's why Harrison Ford is the best in any Star Wars movie in that one. Because it's he was actually being directed by a guy who was giving him real direction.
And I think that difference is clear by the time you get to Return of the Jedi, where Richard Marquand is I mean, he said that he had a good experience directing it, but he feels like such a gun for hire on that.
Right.
And all of the cast, including Ford and Fisher and Hamill, the big 3, seem tired.
Yeah.
You can tell. I watched Return of the Jedi within the last couple of years, and it's clear that they're still good. They're still good at what they're doing, but they are a little sick of it.
Yes. Speaking of seeming sick of it, let's talk about Sean Connery in this movie. I don't know. He just seems like he kind of doesn't want to be here in this one. He seems a little checked out.
It seems like it goes back and forth.
Yes, right. Yeah. There are scenes where he seems more in it.
It's weird because so this is a remake of Thunderball.
Yeah.
And in particular, Thunderball and You Only Live Twice, which are Bond's 4 and 5, he seems tired and checked out.
Yeah.
Especially in You Only Live Twice. Then on Her Majesty's Secret Service, wow. Then that happens, and George Lazenby is Bond. And then Connery comes back for Diamonds Are Forever. Diamonds Are Forever is widely considered one of the worst Bond movies. But Connery seems like he's having a lot of fun in it.
Uh-huh.
And there's parts of this movie where I see that same sparkle in his eye.
Yeah.
And then there's other parts where he's kind of asleep at the wheel.
For me, this movie's long as shit. It's 2 hours and 15 minutes long. And I think that I was getting the liveliness from him, but I was getting it for way less of the runtime than I was getting checked out Connery. That's how I felt about it. It felt like those moments where he's kind of got a little skip in his step are kind of few and far between. And then there's these long sections where he's kind of just totally zoned out. is how I felt about it.
And this is a remake of Thunderball. I rewatched Thunderball last week to prepare for this, and I don't want to sit here and do a one-to-one comparison thing because that would be fucking boring.
Yeah.
But the kind of notable things are Bond is at a health clinic. There's a plot involving someone impersonating an Air Force commander to steal nuclear weapons.
Right.
And there's a rich asshole who has a boat and a kept woman that's working for Spectre. And there's underwater sequences.
Yeah.
And I was really interested in the ways that this movie departed from the Thunderball plot, because it does it in quite a number of different ways.
Oh, yeah?
There are vast sections of this movie that are completely different from Thunderball. Plot events that are out of order, characters that are either missing from Thunderball, or significantly changed for this movie. There's a lot that's different, and I think that's a good thing, because Thunderball is, in my opinion, and this may be controversial because it is, like, at the peak of the Connery era, one of the worst Bond movies.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Kind of because it feels like all of the elements are there and just none of the execution and charm is intact.
Yeah.
And there are vast sections of the movie with this underwater footage, these underwater sequences and action sequences that are technically very impressive.
Yes.
With a lot of actors on screen, and a lot of moving parts. But in Thunderball, none of them come together really.
Yeah.
And they're like, it's like 25% of that movie is underwater. And there's underwater stuff in Never Say Never Again. And I would argue that it's all better than the underwater stuff in Thunderball.
If I have seen Thunderball, it was so long ago that I literally
Sure.
don't remember. But what I will definitely agree with you on is that the underwater stuff in this movie kind of rocks. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, no, this shit's good. Basically, anytime fucking Connery's got a scuba tank on his back, it's like, the movie has my attention now. But before we get to him being underwater, we have to do the first thing that you said happens in this movie, which is he goes to a health clinic. I was not expecting this movie to start with, all right, 007, you're a fat piece of shit. You've got to go on a diet. It's wild that, because the movie opens on a training exercise and he gets killed during the training exercise, and then immediately M is like, it's because you're old and fat and flabby and weak. We've got to whip you into shape.
Yeah,
007.
a training
You need to go to the
exercise.
gym.
A training exercise set to this terrible,
Man,
awful, dog shit theme song.
the music in this movie sucks so much fucking ass.
There is so much 80s porn funk in this movie.
This is one of the worst scores I've ever heard in a motion picture, and this main Bond theme, the Never Say Never Again theme, is probably the worst of all of these terrible pieces of music that are deployed in this movie.
Yeah.
This movie, and also really inexplicably, some sections of the movie are also eerily silent and devoid of any score. And I'm not sure which is worse. An action sequence that for no reason has no music, like we're watching fucking No Country for Old Men. And the tone of that is totally off. But it's is that better or worse than when the motorcycle chase is happening and it's fucking C-tier A-team music playing?
Yeah.
It's fucking TV action score. It's so bad. I was honestly gobsmacked at how bad the score in this movie is, how poorly it's deployed, and just how bad the music is.
One of those moments for me is when Largo is looking at Domino and her dance instructor through his gooning mirror.
Yeah.
And just this porno funk is just playing incessantly while she does these very suggestive poses in this tight dancing suit, and you can see camel toe and everything, and Largo's just sitting there like
right. No, there were multiple moments. That was one of them. There were multiple moments in this movie where I was like, this almost feels like it's one of the what's the name in Boogie Nights of the spy character?
Oh, yeah.
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 It feels like it's like one of the fucking spy pornos in Boogie Nights at multiple points in this movie, and that was definitely one of them.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck are we doing here? And the other kind of playing off of that opening scene with M being like, 007, you're too fucking old. It seems like the movie is setting him up to be, I mean, he visibly is older.
Yeah.
It's setting him up to be an older Bond who's coming back into the service, who's past his prime. And it seems like the movie's playing with that for about 10 minutes.
And then it just forgets about it.
And then he's a lecherous old man.
Right.
Much like Roger Moore is at this point in the series, too, where Moore's in his 50s, too. And it's like, you really can't have Roger Moore fawning over these 20-somethings like you could a few years ago.
Yeah, Moore is older than Connery.
Yeah.
He's 3 years older.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do love them sending 007 to fat camp, basically. Where they're like, okay, you gotta like go fucking drink green smoothies and get like fucking colonics and shit. You gotta hit the gym.
Also, Connery looks like shit in this movie.
Kinda.
I
looks
feel like
shit in kind of a good way. He's very tan.
Extremely tan. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Looks like a dried up raisin, this man.
He does look like he's made of leather.
It does feel like I am watching a version of Sean Connery that I wasn't supposed to see.
Yeah.
Like,
it's
at this
the
point,
forbidden in between phase between him at his prime and him like in his like elder statesman era.
Yeah. He's between evolutions.
He's in his cursed 50s. Yeah. Yeah, I do like that for this one. He was like, I'll ask them for my thinning toupee, just so that it doesn't stretch believability too much. Give me my toupee that makes it kind of look like I'm balding, but not as much as I actually am. Man, when you see that toupee billowing underwater, it's like, oh buddy. oh, buddy. You gotta let it go, man.
In a few years, he did.
Yeah,
that's
and that was a good choice.
That's when he reached that evolution.
Choice.
Have you seen The Rock?
Yeah.
He looks insane in The Rock. He's introduced with like long, stringy gray hair.
I forgot about that. It's been a while.
And
he goes bald in that movie though.
He's I think he is. I just watched the movie last night. Jesus. He does have a toupee, but it is more realistically like short, close-cropped, close-cropped gray hair on that.
Yeah.
After they shave his his fucking mane off,
his wig. Yeah. I don't know. So he's at this fucking health spa, and he fucking immediately starts hooking up with a bunch of the staff. Well, one of the staff. But there is the moment where this like sprightly little young nurse is like, Mr. Bond, I need a urine sample from you. And he's like, right here. And then she like gives him this smirk being like, yeah, whip out that thing and piss in front of me.
Yeah, she's across the room and he's like, from over here.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm hold out the vial. I'll try and get it into there from 20 feet away.
He was a champion pisser back in college. Back at Oxford.
Yeah. And then he starts hooking up with a nurse basically immediately.
I also like that it seems like all of his treatments, according to his doctor, are like colonic and
it's like
enemas.
Like an herbal enema at one point, they say. Yeah.
Like they're plowing this man's ass in this health clinic.
Yes, they're like so your entire butthole is one giant hemorrhoid because all you consume is red meat and vodka. So we gotta get your plumbing flushed out. But I love when the fucking nurse comes to his room with like the tray of health food or whatever. She's like, lentil delight, and then he opens a fucking a secret spy briefcase full of foie gras and vodka and crackers. He's like, this is my secret fat guy suitcase. I asked Q to put together a secret little snack suitcase.
It's like Patrick's dessert suitcase from the episode of SpongeBob where they're raising. You don't understand.
I don't
this,
understand this reference. Yeah,
but
I'm
listeners
woefully inept in my SpongeBob knowledge.
So this is the thanks I get for working overtime.
Yeah, I like his little fat guy suitcase. It's very fun. With like a fifth of vodka and a tub of foie gras.
And she's like shoving this foie gras into this poor nurse's mouth.
And that makes her want to fuck him. She's like, oh, this foie gras is really good. Fuck health food. I guess I'll like S your D now. It's wild. And then after he bones this nurse, he sees, so like we've already gotten one of, I'm just gonna say it, way too few scenes with Max von Sydow in this movie.
Yes,
we've gotten one of those scenes already where he's basically like, while Bond is at Fat Kid Camp, Max von Sydow, who is the leader of Spectre,
he's Blofeld.
Yes,
in this movie. Yeah.
Although they never call him that. They just call him number 1 in this movie, I think.
Yeah.
But I knew he was Blofeld because of the white cat.
Yeah.
But he's basically like let us know the whole plot of the movie, which is like we're gonna steal these nuclear bombs and try and blow up like the oil fields in the Middle East. And he sends number 12, Fatima Blush.
Yeah, Fatima Blush. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, he sends her to like go be the handler of this guy who they are blackmailing into stealing the nukes, and they have like given him surgery to give him the president's eye.
Yes.
Is the president one of the fucking aliens from They Live? What the fuck is up with this eye?
They've drugged him with heroin.
Yeah,
and
they
then
got him hooked on smack, and then they gave him a fucking
like a genetically grown or some shit. This is very different than it is in the original. In the original movie, it's just they have this guy. They pay one of their agents to spend 2 years going through plastic surgery and doing voice lessons to be able to impersonate this Air Force pilot,
right? So
he can fly the mission and steal the nukes for them.
Yeah.
And here, Kershner, whoever wrote this, is responsible for this part of the movie, is like, nah, we're just gonna freestyle this one. We're just gonna go left.
So we're gonna get this guy hooked on smack. We're gonna surgically replace his eye with the president's eyeball, which is like, I cannot stress enough how little this looks like an actual human eyeball. It's like he takes out a contact lens that matches his normal eye.
Yeah.
And under the contact lens, there's a more insane contact lens.
It looks so fucked up.
It's like really bright blue. It's like sticking out past his eyelid.
Yeah, it looks like it was physically painful for him to wear.
So fucked up. It's wild. Anytime you see him without his like contact lens in that matches his eyes up, he looks like he's, in District 9 when the main character starts turning into a prawn and he has one bug eye. He looks like that. It's insane. So anyway, he's staying at the same hospital, I guess, where Connery is getting his colonics. And Connery sees the guy, the Air Force guy who's with the fucked up eyes, number 12, Fatima Blush, is in his room with him, basically being like, now be a good boy and follow orders, otherwise, your sister gets it. Like they're blackmailing him with like with his sister being kidnapped or whatever. And then she's also like, and mommy will give you your medicine, right? She just has heroin on like a garter on her leg.
Yes, she has a drug garter that she's wearing, and she hikes up her skirt to be like, heroin mommy is here for you.
Yes, but he starts talking back, and I love this woman just bitch slapping the fuck out of this Air Force pilot. She just like starts wailing on him, and this is what gets Connery's attention. He's like, there's a woman slapping a man. That doesn't sit right with me. He should be slapping her back.
Super Connery is here to save the day.
Don't worry, I'll slap that woman for you
with my right arm of justice.
But so he wakes up and sees this, and then like, I like that in this movie a couple times, James Bond is the worst spy in the world. Because this is one of those times he walks right up to the outside of the window and is like peeping through the shutter, and then the shade just goes up and he's just standing right outside the window being like, oh shit, they've caught me, caught peeping again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know, maybe like fucking binoculars or something, so you're not right there if the window shutter opens. It is funny that for the Air Force guy, it's a little bit like a jump scare. He's like, oh my god, there's a guy standing right outside the window. Yeah.
So Fatima Blush recognizes that it's 007.
Yeah.
And she sends Pat Roach to try to kill him while he is using this insane-looking Smith machine.
Yes.
What the fuck is going on with
Dude,
this?
The 80s were like the Wild West for gym equipment. I think they were just trying shit out. I think it was basically just like big box like Globo gyms are really hitting their stride in the 80s. There's like a little bit of a health craze going on.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I think that there was probably a gym equipment boom and bust where like a bunch of dudes were like, I know how I'm going to make my fortune. I'm going to patent the most fucked up way to do chest press.
Because there's like a counterweight with two 20-kilo plates on the end of it.
Yes.
Attached to a cable that's lifting up 4 20-kilo plates.
Yeah.
So he's benching like somewhere in the like over 200 pounds on this thing.
Yeah, but like depending on how the fucking weight is distributed on the like 8 pulleys that are going on here.
Yeah.
Also, the bar is weird and fucked up. There's a couple upright handles and a horizontal handle. It's fucking weird.
It does look like a Smith machine that you would very easily die on.
Yes.
Like it is not at all surprising that the fucking giant Nazi from Raiders of the Lost Ark tries to kill Sean Connery with this thing.
Yeah, he just comes in and like cuts the counterweight and like it just like slams down on Connery. And I do like when he's like he is lifting it up and slamming it into his chest. That's like a very fun moment. And then for the first of 2 times in this movie, James Bond saves the day with leg press, because he leg presses himself. He like gets his feet under the bar and leg presses himself out of it. And this is Chekhov's leg press. It comes back again. And then the fight starts. I like that. I like this fight. This is a good
really
fight.
like this fight.
Yeah.
I was like, this was one of the moments to me early on where I was like, I'm not sure how this is going to go. And I'm like, this is actually really good. And especially in comparison to how this sequence plays out in Thunderball, where he's like basically strapped to, I don't know, like the rack, like a mechanized version of the rack. And some guy just comes in and turns it on high. So like, it's kind of a, not a very intense sequence or anything like that.
Yeah.
This is pretty good, and it's playing into what I thought this movie was going to do more of, which is explore Bond as an older man.
Right.
Because
where
Bond
he's like really getting his ass kicked in this fight.
Bond is really on the defensive in this, and it moves through multiple rooms because he's trying to get away from this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love all that stuff. I love all the stuff where like when that like fucked up weird like cable thing that this guy starts fighting with, where he like cuts, like Connery gets a knife when they're fighting in the kitchen, and then he just like cuts the blade of the knife in half with this thing. I like that while the heavy has that thing out and is swinging it, like Connery's basically not landing any blows. He's just avoiding being hit by this thing.
Yeah.
It's really cool choreo. And like, yeah, I sort of wanted more of this in the movie where it's like, oh yeah, this is like an old man, and like if he gets punched, it like fucks him up.
And this
he's not that old. He's 52, but
right.
he's a rough 52.
Yeah, he's he's not looking great.
Yeah.
And this is quite different than what I would expect from a Bond fight of this era.
Yeah.
Which is like a couple close-ups of Roger Moore and then his stunt guys doing everything else, and maybe Moore throws up the odd punch or two. And even the Bond fights previously, of course, Connery was able to do more of that stuff when he was younger. But they weren't the fist fights were a lot quicker and not quite as creative as this sequence is.
Yeah.
And there's and funny too. There's like funny moments where he bursts into this woman's room, and like rolls over the bed and then takes her covers and takes the duvet cover, and throws it on top of the heavy.
This is also one of the sequences though where I was like, why is there no fucking music? Why is it fucking silent?
I kind of liked this without the music though. It sort of worked for me.
I feel like it should have had something, But then again, if the alternative is that fucking like shit ass fucking B-tier NBC detective show music that shows up later, I was like, no, absolutely not. So maybe it's better the way it is. So this fight ends in a hilarious way because like Connery has gotten his shit rocked and he ends up like in a lab, right? In a lab room. And this guy is like coming in for the kill, and then he just like grabs a vial off of this counter next to him and tosses it in this dude's face. And the guy like reacts like it's like fucking acid in his face.
Right.
And then backs into a bunch of like glass, like all these glass beakers and bottles and stuff, which impale him in the back and kill him. And then Connery looks at the vial in his hand and it's his own piss sample. That really made me laugh.
I did clap.
I thought that was
I
good.
did, in fact, clap. I was very, very pleased with this moment.
Yes, I was not expecting piss in this movie. And I'm glad that we got it.
This is one of a couple movies I can think of with Chekhov's jar of piss.
Yeah.
What else?
Batman vs.
Superman. There was another one. Feel like there was another one that we covered on the show that had a jar of piss.
Maybe. I don't remember. I told you we need to start keeping track of the piss movies in a spreadsheet.
We really do.
We keep track of our verdicts, like what is the greatest movie ever made, what's not the greatest movie ever made in a spreadsheet. We should also start keeping track of piss, shit, cum probably, vomit.
I think we need more spreadsheets.
The judge would be on all those.
Yeah, the judge I think is ticked almost. I don't think there's cum in the judge, but it's ticked most of them.
There certainly is Robert Downey Jr.'s fucking creaming his pants while making out with his own daughter. Oh, his own niece. Sorry.
Niece. Yes. I think about that movie like at least once a day.
Me too. It's insane. If we ever did a second episode on the same movie, I think it would probably be the judge.
The Judge Revisited for like episode 1000 or something.
And then we kill ourselves on mic.
Yeah, the piss kill's good.
Yeah,
it's very good. It's very, very good.
Yeah.
That James Bond kills a guy with his own piss.
He kills a guy with his own piss. And then like we cut to M being like, how dare you kill a man with your own piss, 007?
007, I told you to stop using your bodily fluids as weapons.
Now we have to repair this entire health spa that you trashed.
I do think this M kind of sucks.
I like his performance. I think that actor is giving a good performance. I don't really like the character. Yeah.
There's always like a little bit of hostility between or tension between 007 and M.
But this M is really one note.
Yeah.
And that's not the actor's fault. Like I like what the actor's doing, but he is written really one note.
Right. And he's not in the movie that much, which M usually isn't, but he's really not in this one hardly at all.
And he's just like very posh and very like upper crust and stuff, and basically the one joke with him is that like he thinks that his new way of doing things is the best way, and that Bond is a relic of the past, right? Until Bond is useful. And then all of a sudden he's like Bond's best friend. And it's like, yeah, I got that in the first like 20 minutes, and then you just keep hitting that,
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, so then then the bombs get stolen.
Yeah, this is the next big sequences. Gavin O'Hurley, welcome back. Previously seen on Willow.
Oh, yeah.
He's also the son of Dan O'Hurley.
Right.
I don't remember the character's name in this one. But he steals he steals the nukes by breaking into the nuke computer room with, again, his new eyeball that is the president's eye.
Which is also the eye of a bug alien.
And then the computer goes, okay, Mr. President, I'll replace these dummy nukes with actual nukes. And then he just fires these cruise missiles. And and then they just kind of land in the water.
Yeah.
So that Spectre can steal them.
Yes.
Which again is very insane.
It's an insane plan.
Considering I just watched Thunderball, and like the plan in that one is pretty ridiculous, but like still sort of believable. Where they just steal the plane.
Yeah.
And a guy in disguise just steals the plane.
The cruise missile vision sort of sucks.
Oh, we have lots of bad compositing in this movie.
Yeah. The when the cruise missiles get fired, the camera like follows them, and it looks like ass.
Sean Connery and Kim Basinger.
Basinger. Kim Basinger.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sean Connery and Kim Basinger falling off the side of a castle while riding a horse.
Oh yeah, that also looks like shit.
Looks like ass.
It is very funny though when after the shot where they're falling, it cuts to another shot where it's clearly two stunt doubles and an actual horse being thrown into a pool.
Yeah,
and I just love thinking about like some guys just had to throw that horse in that pool because that horse was upside down. It did not jump willingly into that water.
No.
That horse was thrown into that fucking pool. I can't swim.
Rough day to be that fucking horse. God.
I'm gonna call my lawyer.
And then the coolest thing ever happens.
This is so fucking wild.
This coming after the jar of piss.
Yes.
I was like, is this movie going to be good?
I think this is when the movie is when the movie is at its best, is jar of piss through what is about to happen.
So the Air Force guy, the major or whatever, Gavin O'Hurley, is driving away from the base, and then Fatima Blush pulls up next to him.
And she's like, woohoo, we did it,
she's
congrats!
Yes, we did it. She starts blowing kisses or whatever.
She's like playing cheerleader to him, yeah.
Yeah, and then she chucks a fucking snake in his car.
She chucks a fucking ball python into his car.
And the snake does not bite him.
It doesn't do anything.
But the fact that there's a snake in his car causes him to veer off the side of the road onto a ramp where his car flips over and crashes through a wall, and then Fatima Blush pulls up beside him, takes out a radio, hits a button, and the car blows up.
Okay.
And then goes to rescue her python.
I think she does the python first and then blows up the car.
Yes. What the fuck?
I know. This moment really sent me for a couple reasons. Number one, it's hilarious that she throws a snake at him to cause a car crash. I feel like there must have been a way easier way to do that. But also, why does she crash his car if there's already a bomb in it? Just blow up the car! Like, it's so needlessly complicated. Also, this is the first of 2 times in this movie when Fatima Blush attempts to kill someone with an animal first and then a bomb.
This is one of the things about this movie that I think it's the Kershner. I think it's the Kersh of it all.
Yeah.
Because RoboCop 2 does this thing where it almost becomes a parody of a RoboCop movie.
Yeah.
He somehow finds a way to take the Verhovenness of RoboCop, like, even further where you thought it could go, to the point where it sort of becomes self-parody.
Yeah.
And Kershner, with this movie, kind of unmoored from the rest of the Bond franchise and free of those expectations outside of the fact that it's a Bond movie. He's able to do something different, but he is also kind of blowing up the Bond action and the Bond ridiculousness to self-parody levels.
Yeah.
With, like, probably half of the budget of the Bond movie that's coming out at that time.
This is a thing that I really like about this movie, is what you're talking about right now, which is this movie feels sort of knowingly camp in a way that I really like. This movie, like, there's a lot more intentional comedy in this movie than I remember from other Bond movies. And I'm not an expert, right?
Yeah.
I know a lot of Bond movies are funny, but like I can't think of many that I remember well being as intentionally humorous as this movie. And I really like that. And I like two, the sort of like over the top kind of silly slapstick nature of a lot of the action in this movie, where it's like it gets really goofy at points in a way that I like, in a way that I don't think is to the movie's detriment, because it feels like it fits with the tone. It feels like this movie from beginning to end is sort of knowingly silly, you know?
Yeah. And the Bond movies at the time, especially the Roger Moore era, is really where those movies delve into self-parody, but it's all done with the big flashy budget of an Eon Productions Bond film.
Yeah.
And here, seeing Irvin Kershner do it in something that's a little bit more grounded, and not as flashy and over the top, from going all the way back to the opening sequence, the training sequence, which is much more akin to like an 80s Rambo knockoff action movie than anything the Bond movies had done up to this point.
Yeah. It does seem like that training exercise is preparing 007 to replace a Latin American government.
Yeah. It's definitely like you're going to go over and knock over some dictators in Val Verde or whatever
and
from fucking Predator.
Install a CIA-backed, replacement. Yeah.
Yeah. It's different.
Yeah.
It's different, but it still feels familiar. And just done at a slightly... I think that's what makes it charming to me, is that lower budget that's applied here.
Yeah. And speaking of the low budget, I was feeling at times that this movie is sometimes a little less than cinematic. I was like, at points, I was like, oh, in addition to the music kind of reminding me of a TV show, there are certain scenes where I'm like, this kind of looks a little bit like a TV show at times. And I don't think that's down to Kershner's directing. I think it's maybe down to budget, right? Where they just didn't have the money to make all of the sets look as like grandiose and detailed and spectacular as you would normally expect from a Bond film.
Yeah, and it's shot by Douglas Slocum, who did the Indiana Jones movies.
Right.
And that's I think that's one of the keys of this movie, is the combination of Kershner and Slocum. Is just like, it feels, in comparison to Thunderball, it feels more tightly controlled and directed in a way that Thunderball doesn't, where Thunderball just sort of feels like it's like kind of just playing the hits.
Can I hit you with something that I don't know if you're going to agree with?
Yeah.
You know what I don't think is tight about this movie? The editing. I kind of think that this movie is like a little lazily edited. I think that this movie does not need to be as long as it is. And one of the major reasons that it is this long is because the editing just feels a little inattentive and sloppy to me.
That is something I would agree with.
Okay.
I also think that is a problem with Thunderball.
Okay, got it.
But I think Thunderball is more streamlined than this movie is.
Got it.
This movie has weird detours and weird... There's a lot of shit in this. There's a lot of shit in this movie.
Potentially too much.
I came into this discussion having not taken notes because I just wanted to watch the movie.
Yeah.
And I felt a little daunted afterwards. I was like, "There's a lot of weird shit in this fucking movie."
Are we going to be able to remember everything? I already remembered the foie gras briefcase though, so I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job.
But I think there are definitely some moment-to-moment editing problems, and then larger editing problems that contribute to the pacing being so slow in this movie.
Yeah, because this movie does, at times, for me, really drag. There were a couple of moments where I was like, "Whoo, boy, this is taking a while," you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. So now that the nukes have been stolen, MI6 sends 007 to go find them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're like, well, this is a national emergency. There's the scene in NATO where everybody's freaking out. And they send him to the Bahamas. I like his scene with Q. He only has only has the one scene in this movie. He usually only has the one scene.
Right.
But
I didn't like M so much in this movie. I do really like this Q.
I like this Q. This is a good Q.
He's a little bit nerdier, and it's like Q Branch is... it seems like they've had their funding cut, so they're suffering a little bit and trying to scrape by.
Yeah, he's like bitching about they turned off the heating in the in the basement or whatever, so it's like fucking freezing down there. And he's talking about how he would like, if the CIA gives him an offer, he's gonna accept it in a heartbeat because he's like so done. And I was like, yes, the fucking Doge cuts to to Q.
So he gives him a watch that's a laser, which, like, that's fucking throw that on the pile with the rest of the watches that are lasers in this fucking series.
Yeah.
And a pen that shoots a rocket that blows up 10 seconds too late.
Yes, which, stay tuned. And then he alludes to the fact that he's building a motorcycle. And he's like, I'll send it to you when it's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I cannot wait to see 50-year-old Sean Connery. And by that I mean Sean Connery's stunt double.
Yes.
On a motorcycle.
Yes, wearing a helmet so that you can't tell that it's someone who looks nothing like 52-year-old Sean Connery. Yeah. And then he gets sent to the Bahamas. He shows up in the Bahamas. He immediately starts flirting with this fisherwoman, this lady who's like going out fishing or whatever. And he's like, "Hey, what are you trying to catch?" And she's like, "Oh, something 6'2" with brown eyes." And he's like, yes, she's picking up what I'm putting down.
I've got something else in my pants for you that's 6'2".
6'2"? That's too big. And then
I have to wrap it up like an extension cord.
I need a wheelbarrow to walk around. So this like little meet cute happens. And then, it's fucking James Bond in the Bahamas.
Meet cute is a terrible phrase to describe old, lecherous Sean Connery.
Creeping on this young woman. She's into it, though. This lady's into it.
She definitely is.
What happens with Domino later is way worse than this.
But you do have to remember, James Bond, notorious sex pest, one of our great cinematic sex pests.
That is right. And I mean, who better to play him? That's why Connery's the definitive Bond, is because he's the best at being a weird creep.
He's the best at being a little rapey.
Yes. So like then he meets Fatima Blush. It seems like pretty immediately he kind of knows her deal. Like this was a thing where I was like, is Connery playing this in a way where I'm like reading the wrong thing from his performance, or does he just immediately recognize that she's probably an enemy spy?
I think that this tends to be par for the course for I think Bond in general, but Connery's Bond is that he gets into the bed with the femme fatales kind of already being suspicious of them.
Right, okay.
And Fatima Blush is an original character for this movie, but she's clearly based on Fiona Volpe, who's the femme fatale from Thunderball. They're just very, very different vibes from these two.
Yeah.
Where Fiona Volpe is a little bit more like cold and calculating, and Fatima Blush is fucking insane.
I gotta say, I really love Fatima Blush. The actress's name is Barbara Carrera. She, for me, other than maybe Max von Sydow, who is just under-deployed in this movie.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, aside from him, probably MVP of the movie for me is Barbara Carrera. I'm like, she rocks. I love everything she's doing. I love that, like, a character choice she made is just that Fatima Blush is moved by the rhythm of live music anytime she hears it. So, like, it's the Bahamas, there's like there's street performers, there's like musicians at the hotel they're staying in, right? And anytime there's like live music and she's walking, she has to like kind of get into the groove of it a little bit. She's like, ooh, I'm moved to dance.
She also loves speaking in the third person.
Yes. Yeah. And also she has a maniacal obsession with being the best lay that James Bond has ever had.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I love this character.
This sex scene that they have on the boat, intercut with
underwater photography of fish, while a saxophone solo that sounds like it's from a horror movie is playing. It is so bizarre.
Yeah, this is another one of those scenes where it is like, is Kershner intentionally commenting on the Bond formula? Because it is like at one point, it's so funny. It's so clearly played for laughs. Like the cross cutting is funny. there's a point where the boat tips and you see them slide out of frame out of the door.
Yeah.
Because they're just fucking on the deck of this boat.
Yeah. It's wild. It's wild shit. And then they go scuba diving.
Yeah.
They go for a post-fuck scuba dive.
Mm-hmm.
I also like, by the way, that the Spectre flag, which is like the black with the yellow bars, they just put on all of their shit. And I'm like, aren't you supposed to be like a super secret evil organization? Why are you branding everything with your like very obvious logo? Because like I think even the diving suits that she has are like Spectre branded diving suits. But yeah, they go scuba diving. And she puts like a little device on him, and initially we think it's a tracking device, but it turns out what it is a shark calling device. This is how this Spectre agent has decided to take out 007. Not with a bomb, which she tries later. Not with a gun. No. All of that is too normal for Fatima Blush. She has a flair for the theatricals, so she's like, I think I will kill him via pack of sharks.
Shark homing device. The shark has something, some sort of like tracker attached to it or something that's picking up the signal.
Yeah.
And I really want to know how this fucking thing works.
How do the sharks know to follow the beeping?
But it's sort of, but it doesn't matter to me because this is a real tiger shark
multiple real tiger sharks.
Yeah, chasing a real stuntman through this wreck, and there's shark stuff in Thunderball that is, impressive just because you have sharks and real guys on screen at the same time. But it doesn't have the same intensity of this sequence, I think.
This sequence is my favorite part of the movie. This sequence is my favorite thing in this movie. I love this whole sequence where it's so ridiculous, it's so over the top, it's also so technically impressive. I love that it's a real shark chasing a real guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's so sick. Like when the guy like shuts the shark's head in the door underwater. First of all, I'm like, if that shot was not a puppet, which maybe some of them are, I couldn't really tell, then that's maybe animal abuse. To shut the shark's head in this door.
I think throwing a horse into a pool also classified as animal abuse.
Yeah, but that shot of him like shutting the door in the shark's face, like right as it's coming through, I was like, oh shit, that is like legitimately like really riveting underwater action. Even though everything underwater moves so slow, which is why sometimes it's hard to do like really like fast-paced action underwater, they manage it.
Yeah,
and I think in this sequence, the editing is pretty good. It's other spots in the movie where it is an issue for me.
And it's set. I think the sequence is set to music.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But for whatever reason, I remember the music working better for me here.
But yeah, I love this.
Yeah, because the problem with the Thunderball stuff with the sharks is a lot of it is silent. And you're just hearing glug glug bloop bloop noises from being underwater, and it's shot in such a way where it's widescreen, but everything's like a medium shot, and so I mean, on the one hand, you get multiple sharks with multiple stunt performers in the same shot, which is impressive in and of itself. But the close-ups on the shark in this one and the tight editing make this sequence more intense than the stuff in Thunderball for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought all this shit was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he has to like throw the shark homing beacon down into the ship. He like finds it and throws it so that the sharks will follow that so that he can surface, is how he eventually gets out of it. And he has to like his oxygen mask gets knocked off at one point. So he has to like take a hit of oxygen directly from the hose that's attached to the tank before he like goes up.
Yeah. He sees a fish hook being dragged through the water.
Yes.
And it's the woman that he was flirting with when he arrived in the
Bahamas.
Bahamas.
I told you you'd catch me later. yeah, which is a nice little button on the scene.
Yeah.
And then he gets on her boat, and then she shows back up in the dock And Fatima Blush is dancing to the music of a bunch of street performers, just absolutely gleeful. She's like, I killed the MI6 agent, so now I'm just on vacation in the Bahamas. And he rolls up on this boat, and she's like, God damn it! I was dancing to a drum circle. And then I like that he's wearing the ladies' overalls, and she's just in a bikini.
We do get James Bond in overalls in this movie, which is actually we get James Bond in 2 very, very funny costumes. One is the overalls, which is right now like barefoot, bare-chested, just in these overalls.
Yeah, he looks like he lives in the mountains of West Virginia. Yeah,
and then later in the movie, he escapes from a situation by riding a bicycle with like little bicycle shorts, like little white bicycle shorts on.
Yeah, and like an undershirt, like a white t-shirt.
Yeah.
Which is very funny as well. But yeah, so Fatima Blush is like, so the sharks didn't work. Time to resort to plan B, which is I put a bomb in his hotel room. And I'm like, why was that not plan A? But whatever. So she puts a bomb in his hotel room, but then he's hooked up with this lady on the fishing boat. And so they're like fucking in a hotel room. And it is like the movie tries to pull the trick. I clock this coming from a mile away. I think the movie sort of expects you to.
I think so, but I think it's so well done.
Yeah, but it's like basically like you see the bomb in the hotel room, and then you see like James Bond having sex with this lady, and then the bomb explodes, and you see that it's the other room, and he's like, "Oh yes, I see we made the right choice," and she's like, "What? Like what?" And he's like, "What? My place or yours?" Also here he gets a call from Rowan Atkinson, who we haven't mentioned but has been in the movie already.
Yeah, Mr. Bean's in this fucking movie.
He wasn't really Mr. Bean yet. I mean, he had been doing Mr. Bean as a stand-up character, but he wasn't Mr. Bean really until 1990. So this is like kind of a pre-Bean sort of. Wait, when did this movie come out? 83?
83.
So this is first season of Blackadder, Rowan Atkinson. So really like he would be more famous as that character throughout the 80s.
I feel like are you more of a beanhead than I am? Or are you more I don't know if beanhead is the right word, but you at least know more about Rowan Atkinson and Mr. Bean?
Probably. I've seen a decent amount of Bean. I've seen some of the show and like a couple of the like I've seen Mr. Bean's Holiday, the movie. Yeah, and I think that I don't remember whether they were regular episodes of the show or like holiday specials, but I've seen like the big long Christmas special episode of one of the seasons of Mr. Bean. So I'm familiar. I'm not a full Bean head.
Okay.
I do love Mr. Bean's Holiday though. When that movie came out, me and my family went and saw it in the theaters because we were big fans of Rowan Atkinson, mostly from Blackadder, and I remember crying laughing in the theater. And I also think about the part of that movie where he dances to Mr. Boombastic by Shaggy every day of my fucking life.
That song was just in the pop culture consciousness for a while.
Mr. Lova.
It was in the zeitgeist. Was that I think that was Barnyard. I think that was Biggie Cheese in Barnyard was singing Mr. Boombastic.
She called me Mr. Boombastic.
I don't know that I've seen any Mr. Bean.
Oh,
I'm
really?
aware of Mr. Bean. I'm aware of Rowan Atkinson.
Yeah. And you've never seen Blackadder either, right?
No.
Blackadder's fun because it's Rowan Atkinson doing the exact polar opposite thing from Mr. Bean. Because Mr. Bean is all physical comedy, basically. And Blackadder is like zero physical comedy, all like snark and wit. It's like all like the kind of like rapid fire dialogue style of British comedy.
Like Fawlty Towers or Monty Python.
Right, yes. It's a little bit less like broad than Monty Python. It's a lot more like wordplay and sarcasm and shit driven. But yeah, it's great.
Okay.
And basically the whole thing about him in Blackadder is that he's like he sucks, like he's a shitty person, but you just like kind of love him and root for him anyway, which is very fun. But in this, he's doing more of his regular Rowan Atkinson thing, which is like playing just like an affable idiot.
I do think he does not need to be in this movie whatsoever.
I like him though. I'm happy he's here.
It's fun to be like, holy shit, Rowan Atkinson's here for some fucking reason.
Yeah, I like seeing him show up and do a silly character voice.
He's
doing this voice where he's talking with his teeth quite a lot. It's great. Yeah.
It is a point where the movie stumbles over into being a little too comedic, but it is just, I do kind of appreciate how insane it is to see Rowan Atkinson in a James Bond movie.
Yeah. I like when Connery meets him for the first time and Rowan Atkinson like yells his name.
Yeah.
He's like, Mr. Bond! And Sean Connery's like, you probably shouldn't do that. And then he's like, oh, sorry, like, I'm just so excited. I've never worked with a spy before is kind of his attitude. And then like as he's leaving, Connery's like, you might want to take advantage of the natural cover because they're in this like, there's all these like pillars that are like white marble, and he's in a white suit, and then he like hides behind one as he's walking away. That really
I was sort of just like, what the fuck are we doing?
I thought it was funny. I just like seeing him do silly shit. Yeah. Anyway, he gets a call from Rowan Atkinson when the hotel room blows up, which is also, I thought was also a funny moment because Rowan Atkinson's like talking to him and he's like, yeah, sure. And then he like sticks the phone in the ice bucket and he's like, you're going to listen to me fuck this woman. And yeah, so like the hotel room explodes. And then he like, is this when he goes to the casino around here? We've already also seen Domino on the boat by this point.
Yeah.
So Domino is like the sister of the Air Force guy with the fucked up eye.
Yeah.
And she is being held captive, but like not really. She's willingly there.
She's in love with, their relationship, Largo and Domino's relationship is much more romantic in this movie. And then in Thunderball, she's clearly like a kept woman kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it seems like they're in love, and I think we've already had the scene of him perving on her dancing through his little goon cave.
Also, there is 0% chance that woman is not fucking her dance instructor.
Oh yeah,
like he gets so upset later when he sees Bond making out with her in that room, and I was like, buddy, while you've been away,
it seems like he's into watching this woman with her dance instructor.
But I don't think he would want her to be fucking him because he clearly is jealous about that with Bond later. And I'm like, buddy, I got real bad news for you. While you are away stealing nukes, that is absolutely what is going down on your yacht. There is no way in hell this woman is not fucking this dance instructor. But yeah, so you meet her. You see him, be like sort of sweet with her until she's like, well, what would happen if I ever left you? And he's like, I would cut your fucking throat. That's a red flag from this dude. But in my marriage, that's also just how my wife flirts with me, is letting me know that she'd kill me if I ever left her. So.
I would be concerned if I didn't actually know your wife.
She will do it, though.
Yeah, I'm sure. When she does it, it's cool and not problematic.
Yeah, because she's a woman, so she's allowed to threaten violence. Yes. So yeah, we've been introduced to all of that whole thing, and I think around here is when Bond goes to the casino, and then the back room of the casino is a arcade.
No,
or am I skipping something?
You're skipping over the massage scene.
Oh fuck, you're right. Sorry.
We have to talk about the massage scene.
Yes, because it wouldn't be the summer of Sean unless a woman was sexually assaulted by Sean Connery. So we do have to talk about the massage scene. You're right, I forgot.
Keeping that tradition 3 weeks running.
I forgot about it. We'll see what Outlands has for us.
I don't know.
But yeah, he like so he wants information from Domino because he finds out that Domino is the brother or the sister of the guy who stole the nukes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so he knows that Maximilian Largo, is that this guy's name?
Yeah.
He knows that like that guy's somehow involved. So he's like, well, I'll like talk to Domino and see what she knows. And the way that he chooses to do this is by posing as a masseur, right? As she's like getting a massage. And first of all, he gives this woman the worst looking massage of all time. I don't know what the fuck. Like, it's funny because it's like, well, yeah, James Bond isn't a trained masseuse, so he's just kind of improvising. But it is funny how shitty it looks like he is at this.
And the dialogue here, I don't know that you could write more suggestive dialogue for this.
This is one of the moments where I was like, this is one of the porno films from Boogie Nights.
This is, yeah, it's clear. It feels like they're trying to blow up a scene like this from another Bond movie, like blow it up to 10. And he starts off with like hard or soft, and she's like, what? And he's like, the massage, do you want it hard or soft?
And she's like, hard.
And that's exactly the answer I was hoping for.
And
but it does look like a very shitty massage.
He's like doing little finger dances on her back. By the way, this is not a hard massage. He is barely, like, he's just like softly caressing her, and I'm like, you're not doing shit. Her muscles are not getting anything out of this. Yeah, but it's wild when his fingers just like crawl across her back at one point, and then she's like lower, and he's like, yes, I'm gonna squeeze them cheeks.
Finally. Slide my hands down your ass crack.
Yes, and meanwhile, he's asking her about like whatever she knows about Maximilian Largo or whatever. He gathers that basically she doesn't really know anything. And then like a lady who is actually the masseuse comes in, and he's like, "Okay, bye." And then this masseuse is like, oh, like, let's get started. And she's like, wait, where'd the other masseuse go? And she's like, oh, that guy, he doesn't work here. and for a moment on Kim Basinger's face, it's a look of like shock and horror, and then she kind of smiles.
Yes.
And I'm like,
it is the shock and horror and disgust of being like, I was just molested.
I was sexually assaulted by a random man.
And then it transitions to, that little scamp.
Right. And I'm like, no, Kim Basinger. I feel like this cannot be a realistic reaction. To be like, oh, that guy sexually assaulted me, and I kind of liked it. It's like, no.
We should talk about Kim Basinger in this. Yeah. But what do you think of her performance?
I think she's kind of bad in this.
Yeah. I feel bad because she has a thankless job in this movie. Yeah. She has to be a Bond girl that really isn't given the same kind of care that the Bond girls in the other movies are.
Yeah.
Where it's like they're part of the selling point, they're part of the appeal. The writing is, maybe isn't necessarily great and doesn't really maybe hold up through any sort of feminist lens, but it is like they are much more part of the package of the movie.
Yeah.
And here she's just kind of lost in everything else that this movie has going on.
Yeah. I don't like learn much about her.
Yeah.
And she's not like that much of a character. But I also just like, I don't know. I've seen Kim Basinger be better.
I don't think she's particularly good in this.
Yeah. Me either.
But in general, I feel like she just gets, whatever I've seen her in, I guess, I feel like she just gets tough roles that she can't quite pull off. Yeah. Which is not to say she's a bad actress, but I just don't know that I've ever seen her really impress me.
Yeah, she doesn't really work in this. Yeah, so after the massage scene, now we're at the arcade.
Yeah, now we're at the
We go to the casino. So we go to a casino, and it's like James Bond in a tux passing like roulette tables and, card tables and shit. And it's like, oh, now is the classic scene where James Bond will sit down and like gamble.
You just sit down and play
poker against
baccarat with Largo.
Right.
Which is exactly what happens in Thunderball.
And Instead, we enter the back room of this casino where there are a bunch of arcade cabinets. There's like Centipede and Galaga and like Street Fighter and shit. And James Bond is like, yes, time to oil up the old joystick and play some asteroids. How much will $50 get me in tokens?
I can't imagine Sean Connery being in the same zip code as a Centipede arcade machine, much less in character as James Bond. It doesn't compute.
so bizarre.
It's like Diamonds Are Forever comes out in 1970 or 71. It's very early in the 70s, but it takes place in America. So it's like, why is Sean Connery doing a car chase in American muscle cars?
Right.
This doesn't work.
Yeah. It's also bizarre because it's like not only is James Bond next to arcade cabinets, but like all of these people at this swanky resort hotel in the Bahamas who are like all like rich and attractive and in like really expensive clothes are like playing Centipede. And I'm like, was this happening in the 80s? Were there like upscale fucking like black tie events where people would get together and play a bunch of arcade games?
I don't know.
I thought that was for like fat kids with like Slurpees.
Don't worry though, because this movie's about to understand video games even less.
This is one of the funniest things in this movie. Yeah. So like Bond goes up to Domino, who's about to start playing some fucking arcade cabinet, and he's like, "Can I buy you a drink at this penny arcade?" And she's like, "Sure." So he buys her a drink. And
Can I buy you a soda? Maybe a giant monkey with my tickets I've won from playing Galaga.
How does a blue raspberry icy and a nerd's rope sound?
And we can get a pizza and watch Chuck E. Cheese and the boys.
They have the game where you push the button and your hippo eats the little balls here. Do you want to do a little round of that? I call the purple hippo. I think I saw bumper cars on the way in.
Oh, I have some extra change. I'm going to dual wield on Time Crisis.
Stand back and watch me play this skee ball game. I was trained by MI6 at skee ball. It'd be funny if instead of the game they play, if Maximilian and him just played air hockey. It was an air hockey table. Yeah. Maximilian's doing that dirty cheater thing where you just hold the puck in front of the opening and just move it back and forth.
Right. Air hockey, Mr. Bond. Are you familiar with it? Oh, yes, I actually played on the air hockey team back at Oxford.
I've launched some pucks back in my day, you might say.
He gets a few in on Bond. A little rusty, I see. And then Bond pulls off this amazing move or whatever, and he's like, sorry, a little rusty. So it's like, I don't know, just like.
Yeah, instead of that, what happens is, so Maximilian sees Bond moving in on his girl and gets jealous.
Got a high score on Crazy Taxi.
I'll see you at the 9-hole mini golf, Maximilian.
That's what I want. That's what
glow putt.
the golfing scene in Goldfinger, but instead of mini golf,
it's glow putt. When I was in high school, I saw the wildest shit I've ever seen in my life on a glow putt course.
Are you about to tell this story for the second time on the podcast?
Have I told it before?
Yeah.
Oh, well, never mind. I guess I won't. What episode was that on? When was I talking about glow putt on the podcast?
May have been Ninja 3, because there was the scene on the golf courses in Ninja 3.
Oh, you're right. Never mind. Go back and listen to our Ninja 3 episode.
And your friend just...
Yeah, he got a hole in one. It was
got a hole in one
by ricocheting the ball off of a security camera.
Yeah.
In an indoor glow putt. It was wild.
Yeah. I
didn't realize I had told that story on mic before.
Well played, Mr. Bond.
Yeah. So Maximilian is like, I challenge you to the 1v1 of the video game I invented, which seems patently unfair. First of all. And he's like, no one's ever beat me at it. And it's like, yeah, you fucking wrote the rules.
Yeah.
You designed the game. And this game is wild and insane and stupid.
It doesn't make sense.
I like this scene because it's so ridiculous, but this game seems unplayable.
It's also quite long.
It goes on a while.
This scene is maybe a little too long, but it is also long enough where I'm just like, it's sort of funny that we're still here watching James Bond play this insane looking video game. No one show this movie to Hideo Kojima. Because Kojima's gonna fucking put this thing out in Japanese arcades next year if he watched this movie.
And like, yes, I will make this. I will make the fucking world domination game from Never Say Never Again real.
It's like this.
It'll actually shock you.
It's this really nice ornate table with this holographic screen in the middle.
Looks like an air hockey table.
Yeah.
Actually. But a really fancy air hockey.
An air hockey table that Louis XIV used.
Right. Yeah. There's like a square in the middle, and then like the table pops open, and there's little screens and like buttons and joysticks, and then there's like the images get holographically projected into the center square. Yeah. The screen in the middle, in a way that is like futuristic bullshit, right? But the game itself, it seems to be like you shoot little polygons to make them your color, and you just do it faster than your opponent, I guess.
Yeah, and you have two
nukes. Yeah,
that I guess will if and you can activate a shield, and if you don't activate the shield and you get hit by the nuke, the game's over.
Right.
And real money's involved. And you're also being shocked by the joysticks the more that you lose.
Yes, the joysticks zap you, and apparently like 65 or 70% of how much they zap you, how much they are capable of zapping you, is enough to like almost kill you. It seems like the implication is like if it got to 100, it would fry you.
I would really like a scene where someone gets killed playing this game.
It's really unfortunate that we never see what 100 does. It only gets up to like 70 at the highest.
Thunderball has a scene where a guy gets electrocuted in a chair in like the Spectre scene.
Yeah.
Because he's like, he's failed at his mission, so Blofeld is like, pushes a button and it shocks him in his chair and kills him. I would love that, but with the video game thing in this movie.
I really wish that we had gone even farther with the zapping in this scene, and when people were getting zapped, you saw their skeleton.
Yes. Also, there's a crowd that's gathered around to watch this.
Yes, this movie invents esports. This movie from 1983 invents the first esports event.
They're watching this game, and I'm watching it, and I can barely fucking tell what's going on.
I do like when Fatima Blush keeps having to tell that guy down in front, who keeps standing in front of her. She's like, I want to see the fucking esports.
So Bond gets shocked a few times.
Yeah.
And also money's involved. So like
he loses like $58,000 or something.
So then he decides to play one more game to and you know for all the marbles or whatever,
right?
For
like wagering the remainder of the money on the table.
Yeah, like for like $300,000 or something. And then all of a sudden, James Bond fucking locks in.
He suddenly gets good at this video game. He's like, I was just warming up before. I just needed to learn the tutorial. But it turns out I'm a pro gamer.
It's so wild.
I'm going to mog this noob.
Fucking pwn this noob.
I'm gonna call him slurs from my Xbox headset. I'm gonna teabag this motherfucker.
I'm gonna spawn camp the shit out of him.
Headshot, bitch.
Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah. So he beats this guy at video games. It's wild that this movie contains a scene where James Bond beats a guy at video games. He beats the villain at video games. And then
it's insane that someone wrote that down in a script and then they shot it.
Hey, it's 1983. Video games are hot.
You know,
they thought they were really doing something here.
That's true. I mean, you can do a video game scene in fucking Superman 3, I guess.
Domino, get me a 2-liter of Pepsi and a bag of Doritos nacho cheese. I need to lock into this game.
Fucking Freddy's Dead has a video game kill in it. Like, we're just doing that in the 80s.
Get me my Lucky Ninja Turtles shirt.
Get me my gamer fuel.
I need a full sugar Monster Energy to beat Maximilian at this video game. I want to see James Bond in a like one of those huge light up gaming chairs.
Yeah. Doing a Twitch stream. Hey guys, thanks for subscribing to my channel. Today I'm gonna play Call of Duty.
Shout out to D's Nuts 6969. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for the subscription. I'd also like to thank today's sponsor,
NordVPN.
Yeah, so this fucking insane scene happens, and instead of the money, Bond asks Largo to let him dance with Domino.
Yes.
And then they fucking dance the tango.
They do a tango, and during the tango, he's like, "Your brother's fucking dead, by the way.
Don't react to this at all.
Act
Everyone
natural."
in the ballroom is looking at us. We're
Yeah.
the only ones on the dance floor."
But cope pretty easily with the death of your brother for me, if you would. Thanks." This was definitely the appropriate moment to deliver this information. Yeah, they dance. Maximilian gets all steamed. He's pissed off, and Fatima's pissed off too. Because she and Maximilian kind of alludes to it. He's like, "Hey, are you mad because you didn't kill him, or are you mad because he is moving in on Domino and you want him for yourself?" And we learn that there's maybe more truth in that than you would expect.
Yeah, the next thing in this movie is Bond goes back to his villa to discover a woman has been killed with a waterbed in some.
It's the woman from the fishing boat.
Yeah,
who he slept with.
Is it, or I thought she was? There's a lot of women in this
I'm pretty
movie.
sure it's the woman from the fishing boat who he slept with, who he was also fucking when his hotel room exploded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there's another woman that's introduced who's it seems like she's a contact or someone. There's a scene at the airport when Felix Leiter shows up and the motorcycle gets.
Maybe it is her. I just straight up don't remember.
Yeah, it's
the
unclear.
French lady.
Yeah,
the French lady. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
know if it's her, but it was unclear.
Someone gets killed.
Yeah, someone gets killed, and then he sees Fatima hanging around the villa. And it leads to this motorcycle chase, which it is insane to consider Sean Connery riding this fucking 80s Kawasaki or whatever.
It is pretty rad though, and none of it is him.
No,
it's all a stunt.
But it's just funny to think about.
Yeah,
James Bond doing that.
This chase is pretty rad.
But this chase is pretty rad. The stunt driving in this is pretty excellent.
Yeah, it's cool.
And there's the part where he goes down the stairs and stuff.
And does a wheelie up a flight of stairs at one point. At one point he fucking lays down the motorcycle and skids under a semi. That moment is fucking crazy. And a stunt guy just did that. It's like a guy actually skidding the motorcycle horizontally under the undercarriage of this huge semi truck.
There's a car crash here where there's two cars driving side by side, and one goes off a ramp and crashes through some like a roadside stand or something.
Yeah.
And then flips over and skids on its roof. And crashes into the other car it's driving alongside.
Yeah.
Really good stunt driving for this scene. And then they eventually
they corner him in a tunnel.
And he
The wildest thing to me here is why are they not just killing him here?
Yeah.
I guess it's because Fatima really needs her written affidavit that is Fatima Blush is the best person I've ever fucked.
Can I need it notarized? And signed by a judge and stamped.
Now I need you to take a picture of yourself holding up the signed confession and today's newspaper. But yeah, so she's trying to get him in the back of this truck without killing him. There's a guy with an Uzi who just keeps shooting at the ground so that James Bond can't drive away, and they're just trying to corral him into the back of this truck, and he goes into the back of the truck and then just turns the motorcycle around and drives back out of the truck. And it's he's still on a fucking motorcycle. But yeah, so eventually this chase ends, and Fatima has caught up to him, and we have a little standoff here where he crashes his bike, and she has a gun on him, and she like tells him to spread his legs, and she's like, I'm gonna shoot your dick off. I'm gonna kill you, but first I'm gonna shoot your nuts off. And then he starts negging her. He starts being like insulting her, and she's like, "You know that Fatima Blushing gave you the best orgasm of your whole life, James Bond." And he's like, "Well, yes, you did. I think I see an angle here, right?" And she's like, "Write it down. I want you to write this shit down." And he's like, "Oh, all right. But hold on. I just had another thought. I remembered this girl in Philadelphia or whatever."
Yeah.
It's like this whole bit is so
It's
fucking weird.
Yeah, and she's like, "Sign it, James Bond 007." And he's like,
so weird.
"The department doesn't let us give out endorsements."
It's so bizarre, and I'm not sure it totally works, but
I think Connery sells this moment. I think this is
yeah.
I mean, so some of the humor and the quips and the typical James Bond comebacks and double entendres don't quite work here in this movie. Or it's that thing where like it seems like they're attempting to do a traditional James Bond comeback or quip, and it's just a little bit different, so it feels off.
Yeah.
This is one of the moments where I think it works, and it's actually pretty funny.
You know what does also really work here, though?
Watching this bitch get fucking annihilated.
So, like, he shoots the pen rocket at her, and she gets hit by the pen rocket, and then she shoots at him, but she misses because she just got shot with a rocket. But it's the delayed explosion thing. So she, like, looks down, and she's like, "Oh, you got me, but I'm still alive." And she's about to shoot him again, and she just blows the fuck up in a huge fireball, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
I do kind of wish we saw chunks. This isn't that kind of movie, but
It would
I kind of wish there were some
It would be
chunks.
great, some PA off stage just throwing a bunch of fake blood and like and meat they got from the butcher on Sean Connery.
Not the first time I've bathed in a woman's blood.
And there's no, I don't even think he says anything.
No,
there's
he
no,
just blows
there's
this
no,
lady the fuck up.
there's
And then he's like, "Oh yes, that worked," or whatever. And then yeah, and then like
it is delayed because it's still a prototype.
right.
So he remarks on that, but it's not. There's no pun.
yeah,
Like she did always have an explosive personality,
right,
or something like that.
You should have done punch up on this script.
I could have.
You weren't born yet. Then yeah, like the cavalry show up.
Bond regroups with Felix Leiter.
Oh yeah.
I do want to just comment on the guy playing Felix Leiter, who's traditional Bond character, who's the CIA contact.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
The
The American guy.
yeah.
in a Bond movie.
Bernie Casey.
yeah.
Who I recognize from a few other movies. He was in the Mouth of Madness. He's in
Yeah.
Bill and Ted. He's really good in this. He
He is.
doesn't have a ton to do,
Yeah, I kind of wish there was more of him.
but
Much like Max von Sydow.
I was very surprised to see that this movie did Black Felix Leiter 2 decades before we
Yeah.
got Jeffrey Wright in Casino Royale.
Yeah. I mean, it was the 80s, you know? We're finally allowing black actors to be major players in movies, but not the lead.
Yeah.
We're finally allowing black actors to be third or fourth billed in a major studio film.
But they group up to try to infiltrate Largo's yacht, the Flying Saucer, and they just immediately get discovered. It's just like their plan immediately fails, and it's like, "Ah, yes, Mr. Largo was expecting you for lunch."
Right.
Yeah.
And
And this is where Bond tries to make him jealous by dancing with Domino and kissing her.
Yes,
and,
kissing her because he figures out the thing that there's like a two-way mirror in
Yeah.
there. And he's like, okay, like he's definitely watching us. Make out with me because it'll make him jealous and force his hand, and also because I've been wanting to put the moves on you ever since I saw you shirtless in that spa. So they make out, and Maximilian gets mad. I do like him going apeshit on this dance studio. He like grabs like a fire axe and starts smashing all the mirrors and shit.
Yeah, it's pretty great. And Bond is watching him from the gooning chamber
And
or
he's
whatever.
like, "Ah, yes, another man I've driven into sexual madness by cucking him. Just another tally mark for old 007." Another man whose life my penis has ruined.
So they sail to North Africa, and at some point, there seems like there's a weird edit here where he's fine with them again. Like, everything's cool.
Yeah, I guess he just is like, well, I guess the way for me to play this is like I don't care at all. Actually,
Yeah, but he's actually going to he tries to sell Domino to this group of Arabic gentlemen on horses.
Yeah, this is where the movie
tries to sell her to the Mujahideen or these Bedouin wanderers.
This is
I
where
don't know.
The movie
It's wild.
Suddenly gets racist.
It is quite
in the Bahamas, the movie was not racist, mostly because non-white people were largely absent from the scenes in the Bahamas, which is its own problem, right? But it's like we had avoided a lot of racism in the Bahamas. As soon as we get to North Africa, it's like, ooh, ugh.
Now,
the first and only thing that any Arabic characters do in this movie is try to sell a white woman into sexual slavery. So,
yeah,
yeah,
we have a bunch of guys riding on horseback with turbans and guns.
It's pretty bad.
Betting on a white woman.
It's pretty bad. It's not good. Yeah. So, James Bond has to save her like he's fucking Liam Neeson in Taken, being like, "Oh, I can't let these brown people buy my white lady. She belongs to me."
This is where we get the stuff with the horse.
Yes, we do get the stuff with the horse. So yeah, there's like a little bit of a chase on horseback here, and where they're getting shot at, and then eventually he does jump the horse off of a castle into the sea, and we just throw a horse in a pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. This stuff is all fine. The action in this movie is all pretty good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good sequence. I don't know that it's like one of the stronger ones to me, other than just how crazy that ending is.
This is also the part of the movie where I started feeling things dragging a little bit.
Yeah.
Honestly, after Fatima Blush gets killed, there's 45 more minutes of movie, which is sort of a big problem for me.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, okay, once we lose Fatima Blush, you lose a lot of my interest, and then the movie keeps going for almost another hour.
I'm still pretty invested, though, because all of this that we're talking about is vastly different than what happens in Thunderball.
Right.
I would say the first 20 or 30 minutes of this movie are pretty, different in their own ways, but beat for beat, it's pretty close to Thunderball.
Yeah.
But at this point, the movie has vastly departed from that original film.
Yeah.
So I'm still kind of interested to see how things wrap up and what happens. And I think the climax kind of underdelivers.
Yeah.
But it is a little bit better than the Thunderball climax is, which is a large underwater battle scene that seems like it goes on forever and is poorly staged, like I've already said.
Right.
This at least does something a little bit different with it and still incorporates that underwater element. Because they reunite with Leiter on a submarine.
Yeah.
And they discover that the first warhead is found
right under the president.
in Washington D.C.
They
snuck a warhead into the White House.
They snuck a stolen nuke under the White House, which is absolutely insane. And the other nuke is going to they allude to this at the first scene with von Sydow, where he's like, yeah, we're gonna put one of the nukes at the head point of the entire oil field reserve for the entire Middle East, basically. And he's like, and it'll start a chain reaction and destroy all of the Middle Eastern oil supply or whatever. And it is funny that this movie from 1983 is we must save the oil industry. Big oil needs you, James Bond. And I'm like, I don't know if that's I kind of think Spectre might be onto something. Kind of feels like if we just blew up all the oil, then at least climate change would not be as much of a problem.
You did have the oil crisis of the 70s at this point, so it is kind of
it's in the
consciousness.
Yeah,
but Yeah, we haven't quite
It is funny that it's
transitioned
like,
to the Gulf War yet.
oh no, we have to save the thing that is making the Saudi royal family some of the richest people on the planet.
I was expecting this movie to end with this film was dedicated to the brave Mujahideen fighters of Afghanistan.
Speaking of the Saudis, though, a hilarious fact that E.T. put in our research is that the yacht that they're on, Maximilian Largo's yacht,
yeah.
is the yacht of an actual Saudi arms dealer who like did arms dealing with like the CIA and shit. Like he was like a arms dealer that like America allowed to do that because he was doing it in a way that benefited them. And his name was Adnan Khashoggi. And if Khashoggi sounds familiar, it's because he is the uncle of famously murdered journalist Jamal Khashoggi, which is just a wild thing that this movie is connected to. Like, that's bananas. That like the uncle of Jamal Khashoggi's yacht is in this movie. Yeah, wild.
Yeah.
And also crazy that they got an arms dealer's yacht for this movie.
Another weird connection that is less weird, but I thought I would bring up. Jack Schwartzman, the producer of this movie, is married to Talia Shire
right.
of the Coppola dynasty.
Yes.
So Jason Schwartzman, I can never say his name.
Jason Schwartzman.
Jason, I need to slow it down.
Jason
Schwartzman.
It's a great theater warm-up.
It is a good theater warm-up.
Yeah,
wow.
say Jason Schwartzman 5 times fast. Yeah.
That's another connection as we get a Coppola / Schwartzman connection in this movie.
Yeah.
But the Saudi arms dealer is more interesting. I just wanted to say
it's pretty wild. And when they thank him in the credits, they just thank him as AK rather than Adnan Khashoggi, presumably so that it's less easy to find out that they bought or rented out an arms dealer's yacht for this movie.
The way that they track down Largo in this movie is also insane.
Yeah,
because he's given Domino this necklace that he's referred to as the Tears of Allah.
This real shitty looking necklace.
Yeah, it's
pretty hideous.
It's a rock.
Yeah.
And they realize that the design on the necklace matches up with a point on the map. And so they sail there.
And the point on the map is like an ancient pool that is like sacred, and it's called the Tears of Allah. And it's like weirdly Indiana Jones for a second here, where we're like going to like this secret ancient like temple or whatever.
It's weird and it's poorly defined, and I don't know why it's here.
I don't know either.
But it's kind of fun.
I guess just multiple people who worked on Indiana Jones also worked on this movie, and they were like, let's have him just go to an Indiana Jones location.
Second Connery movie in a row that is not an Indiana Jones movie, but has a weird Indiana Jones-esque sequence.
Yeah.
Following the Rock, which I watched last night, and has a minecart sequence.
Oh. Huh.
There's apparently minecarts under Alcatraz.
I forgot about that. Forgot about that in that movie. Yeah, so they find Maximilian Largo here. He's like getting the
before we end the movie.
Right.
We should talk about Largo.
Yes.
And we should talk about this actor.
Yes, yeah. This performance I really, really like. I know you're getting the actor's name.
Klaus Maria Brandauer.
I like that his middle name's Maria. That's
yeah,
cool.
I don't know if it's pronounced
Klaus
that way.
Maria Brandauer. Go to your room.
He's Austrian. I guess Connery was responsible for a lot of the casting choices in this movie.
Yeah. And
said that this actor was like one of the 10 best actors in the world.
Yes. We have to get Klaus. I love that guy. Yeah, I think he's great in this movie.
Okay.
I love him in this movie. I think he's fantastic.
I kind of think he's bad.
Oh, really?
But
I think he's bad in maybe a fun way.
But he's also, he's kind of fun.
Yeah.
He definitely feels like if this were an official Bond movie, he would be one of the lesser Bond villains for me.
Okay, yeah. I just like that he's chewing scenery.
He's
doing a
definitely
really
chewing.
big performance.
He's very pervy and slimy.
Yeah. And I feel like that kind of fits the tone of the movie, that he's going really broad with it.
Yeah.
You know? There's like no subtlety in this performance whatsoever, which I kind of appreciate.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, this is an unsubtle movie.
It was hard comparing him to the Largo of Thunderball, because that performance is handicapped by a lot of dubbing. I don't even think it's the actor's original voice that they dub.
Got it.
But what's holding that character up is he has the very iconic design of like the white tux and the eye patch.
Right.
It's when Thunderball is when the Bond series has found its formula and is starting to do a lot of the things that the Bond movies are known for. So we have these very iconic looking villains, and that's one of the more memorable aspects of that movie is the villains look more so than the performance. But I was still trying to compare this Largo to that one, and I was like, I don't know. I think Emilio Largo from Thunderball might win out, because I don't know. I really don't know how I feel about this Largo.
Fair enough. I just like that he's like a dork-ass nerd who gets cucked by James Bond, and he like builds video games that zap you and shit.
Yeah, he is. And his performance, he is doing more of a thing.
Yes.
He is committing to a thing, I think.
Yeah, and he is like a slimy little creep.
Yeah.
It is weird when you're introduced to him that Domino likes him, because I'm like, this guy has like Tote from fucking Raiders energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Feels like he would take out that fucking coat hanger all menacingly. So anyway, they get to the fucking Tears of Allah pool. Maximilian's already there. They're like putting the bomb in place or whatever. They're like arming it and shit. And 007 and Felix Leiter like sneak in, and they have their like team waiting. And this is the second time where Sean Connery uses the power of leg press to save the day. Because he leg presses the head of this like ancient statue off. And it like goes tumbling and like distracts all the dudes and like lands on a couple guys.
This thing's huge.
Yeah. No, he's got some real lower body strength. Like he was benching earlier, and it's like clearly what 007 has been training is actually legs.
Yeah. Yeah. It's also funny that he's running around with like a Mac 10 or a Mac 11 in this.
Yeah.
Like not the type of gun I would expect to see this 007 packing. This shootout at the end is okay.
Yeah, it's
I think it's fine.
A guy gets lit on fire at one point. I always like to see that.
Yeah, and the we also have other cavalry coming in here from Bond's side that are working with the CIA or the U.S. Navy or whatever.
Yeah.
I think the Bond movies, the Eon Bond movies, suffer when they're trying to do big action sequences at the end with multiple characters on screen. Like there's a couple big battles between two armies that just don't work. I think this is a little bit smaller scale, and it's also a shorter sequence, so it works a little bit better for me.
Yeah, I think this stuff is pretty good.
And then it caps off with an underwater sequence of Bond and Largo facing off.
You know what we forgot to mention?
With the bomb. Yeah.
The jetpacks.
Oh! Yeah!
There's so much fucking shit in this movie.
There is truly a lot of shit in this movie.
So we're going to pause before we get to the underwater finale, and we're going to back up for the jetpacks.
So there's a jetpack in Thunderball, and this is sort of a callback to that, but it's deployed in a much stranger way in this movie where they're fired. They're missiles that are fired from the submarine.
Yes, they fire Felix Leiter and James Bond in missiles, and then the missiles break apart, and they're inside of them in jetpacks.
And they're in jetpacks. And there's a scene beforehand where Bond's like, "Do you have the special whatever it is the designation of it?
Yeah.
Do you have the special missile jetpack thing?" And the sub commander's like, "You're not supposed to know about that." And he's like, "Fuck you, I'm 007.
He's like, "How do you know about that? That's classified." And he's like, "I read it in a Russian translation of your manual," or whatever. Lots of talk of the Soviets in this movie, which is just clearly like just like the time. You know?
Yeah. That's the enemy of the Roger Moore era is
Yes.
The Soviet Union.
Yeah. But we had to address the jetpacks and how it's insane that they're literally just inside rockets. they just shoot
they just
two
use,
guys in rockets.
They just use them to get to shore.
Yes. Yeah, they serve no narrative purpose in this movie whatsoever. It was basically just like, we just want to do jetpacks.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're catching back up to where we were.
Yeah, the underwater fight with Largo and Bond after the nuke's been primed, which is it's not great, but
this is kind of a little bit of a wet fart of an ending, honestly.
Yeah.
There's the underwater action earlier in the movie is better than this, and this feels very underwhelming by comparison. And like there's the big moment where Domino shoots Maximilian Largo with the spear gun, and that should be kind of a triumphant moment for her character, because like he killed her brother and was lying to her about it, and we get basically no reaction from Domino because her face is buried under a scuba mask, and there's no dialogue or sound because we're underwater. So it's like a real like nothing moment, you know? And I'm like, oh, this should be the climax of the movie, and instead it's kind of like meh.
Yeah, and there's no real aftermath here. It just
wraps
up really quickly, and then we go to the the final scene before the credits.
Right.
With Bond and Domino retired.
Domino wearing this one-piece swimsuit that is just a tiger's face.
Oh yeah,
was really sending me.
That was funny. I think we're introduced to this sequence with her diving underwater, and we get a great shot.
Yes.
Of that tiger bodysuit.
It's just so 80s. It's insanely 1983.
Yeah. Rowan Atkinson shows up for one more time to remind you that he's in the movie.
Yes, and Bond throws him into the pool because like Rowan Atkinson kind of sneaks up on them.
Yeah.
And so Bond's like agent senses kick in, and he chucks him into the pool before he realizes who it is.
And then Bond says that he's never going to be a spy again, and
then he winks at the camera.
I'm almost expecting them to do a title drop, but they never get there.
Yeah.
But then Bond winks at the camera, and then it does his face is the middle O in 007.
Yes.
That's the end of
and
Never Say Never Again.
Fucking shit ass song.
We hear that terrible ass song again,
and I'm immediately wanting to turn these credits off because this song fucking blows so hard. It's poorly written. It sounds bad, and also the production is awful. Just really, really bad song. And presumably they don't put the thing in the credits where it's like no animals were harmed in the making of this film because we shut a shark's head in a door and threw a horse into a pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And threw a snake at a guy.
Oh, we did throw a snake at a guy.
But we did a moving vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Never Say Never Again.
Let's Never Say Never Again.
David.
The unofficial James Bond film. Yeah.
Is Never Say Never Again the greatest movie ever made.
Justus, so you gotta understand, as someone who's been a Bond fan for most of his life, and sort of knew about this movie but never expected he would watch it, the bar was on the fucking ground going into this.
Yeah.
And I have to say that I came out of the other side of this thing quite impressed and charmed by this movie.
Okay.
I think it's really Kershner holding this thing together. And it's Kershner's ability to direct, to construct an action sequence, to, know the conventions of the franchise that he's working in and find a way to add his own spin on them, like he did in Empire Strikes Back, but more importantly, like he did in RoboCop 2, where he knows just how to take those moments and tilt them slightly to the left or right, or amplify them to make them feel familiar to a fan of the franchise, but put his own stamp on them. And that's what he does in this movie. This movie's weird. It's messy, and it's kind of a structural nightmare. But through it all, there's a lot of charm and ambition and heart beating underneath this movie, even though it was clearly born out of a place of greed where Kevin McClory just wanted to get money for a story that he helped Ian Fleming work on back in the 50s.
Yeah.
I think Kershner brings that ambition and that heart to this movie. And I gotta say that, like, comparing it to Thunderball and comparing it to this point in the Roger Moore era of James Bond, it's more impressive to me than both of them.
Okay.
Because Thunderball is a movie where all of the elements are there. They're coming off of Goldfinger, which is one of the best Bond movies ever. And they just don't deliver, and the formula starts feeling tired. And then Octopussy comes along at a point where Roger Moore is past his prime. The franchises started feeling safe and familiar and falling back on camp and jokes and humor that just doesn't work, and it's becoming a self-parody of itself. For something like this to come along and offer a new perspective on Bond at the time of its release is kind of refreshing to me. No, it's not the greatest movie ever made, but I am shocked at how much fun I had with this movie.
Yeah.
And how strange it is, and how much I was able to enjoy experiencing all of the weird things that this movie has to offer, and all of the different takes that it has on Bond. And, like, I had a pretty good time with it. And I think if you are a Bond fan of any stripe, you know, whether you're casual or a diehard, and you haven't seen this movie, I think it's worth checking out. I think it has more going for it than going against it. Is it better than Thunderball? Hey, fuck. I just watched Thunderball this weekend, or this past week, and I had a much better time with Never Say Never Again. Never Say Never Again is undoubtedly like a more inconsistent movie, I think, but I kind of think it's more interesting for that. No, not the greatest movie ever made, but I had a really good time with this movie, flaws and all.
Yeah.
Justus, is Never Say Never Again the greatest movie ever made?
David, this movie was interesting for me as someone who's, like, not a huge Bond guy. There are real high highs in this movie, and I think the highest highs are when it's, like, being kind of knowingly silly. You know, like the video game sequence, which maybe is less knowingly silly and more just like it's funny to see how, like, the 80s thought video games were.
Right.
But, like, you know, other shit like you know, the shark chase underwater. It's like that's very camp and over the top and silly. And it's also executed really well and is really, like, fun to watch. Those are, like, some really high highs, you know, some of the, like, vehicle chases, some of the fights that we talked about. The action in this movie I think is overall pretty good. I'm gonna disagree with you on one point. You said that you thought that this movie had more going for it than going against it. The way I sort of ended up feeling about this movie is it kind of has as much going for it as it has going against it. Because while I like a lot of that stuff that I just mentioned, the score in this movie fucking sucks ass. Some of the performances are really not it for me. The editing kind of blows. And honestly, there were multiple points in this movie where I was getting incredibly bored, especially in the third act, where I was like, let's fucking wrap this up already. This is moving so slow. You know, when we bust out those jetpacks for no reason, just to, like, go from a ship to shore, I was like, why are you wasting my time? Never Say Never Again. You know? And, like,
but at least it's wasting your time with jetpacks.
It was wasting my time with jetpacks, but at the same time I was like, how are you making jetpacks boring? Is sort of how I felt about some of the stuff in this movie, where I was just like, okay, can we move this along, please? You know? And, like, I didn't hate this movie. I liked this movie. I liked watching it. I had fun watching it. I didn't only have fun watching it. I also, at times, was like, get on with it. You know? And there was a lot of shit in this movie that irked me. So, like, no, it's not the greatest movie ever made. I would say that what you said I do endorse, which is, like, this movie is worth watching, partially just so that you can see some of the insane shit. So that you can see, like, this lady throw a snake at a guy and make him crash his car, and see fucking Sean Connery's suitcase full of foie gras. And, like, really the first 20 minutes of the movie where James Bond is in fat camp, like, that is worth the price of admission by itself. But no, it's not the greatest movie ever made. I had fun watching it, but it also kind of got on my nerves.
Next time we'll watch a real James Bond movie.
Yeah.
Not this.
I have been thinking a Craig one would be fun to do.
Yeah.
Maybe one of the ones I haven't seen.
I've thought about doing a Bond month.
Yeah.
But I haven't done that yet.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe that'll happen.
We did a Sean month this
Yes.
time. And next week, to close off the Shama of Sean, we're watching a movie called Outland, which is a science fiction western directed by Peter Hyams, where he plays a space cop.
Yes.
And that's all I know about it.
Cool. That's all I know about it, too, because that's all you've told me about it. So
That's all.
That's all either of us know about it.
Yeah.
We'll see what Outland is like, and we'll see if we get a four-peat on Sean Connery sexually assaulting women in the Summer of Sean. Is there a lady on the moon who he is going to touch without consent? Tune in next week to find out.
In the meantime, spread the word about the show to your friends, family, and loved ones, people you don't like. I don't care.
Saudi arms dealers, if you know any
secret agents you may be aware of. And follow us on social media, particularly Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
And submit questions for our Q&A happening for episode 100.
Episode 100 Q&A. Send those Qs so we can A them.
Thank you to ET for our research and social media management. And we appreciate you guys so much. We'll see you next week for Outland. And as always, later, dipshits!
We hope you enjoyed this episode of The Greatest Movie Ever Made. Please remember to leave us a rating and a review, and to subscribe to the show wherever you listen. We appreciate you supporting the show and spreading the word. Tell your friends to listen, tell your enemies to listen, tell your mom to listen. If your neighbor has an unsecured Bluetooth speaker, connect to it and play an episode. You can follow us on social media at TGMEM_podcast. And if you've got a movie that you want us to talk about, send us an email at thegreatestmoviepodcast@gmail.com. Okay, that's all for now. We hope you beautiful people all come back next week for another episode.